The amount of people who try and hide behind this thirst for knowledge is truly incredible. You win through action. The universe is actually a very giving place. And if you're God, you have all these blessings to give out. And if you give blessings to everybody, then you give blessings to nobody. If everybody's a millionaire, then being a millionaire doesn't mean anything. You can't buy anything. So there has to be people who win and people who lose. And karma is sitting there with this huge pot of blessings, looking for people. And it's just looking for someone who gives a shit and tries. You'd be surprised what happens when you actually try. You can't put the two together, but for some reason you just start winning. They see all these people who go, I want blessings, but they're just sitting on their ass, refusing to do anything. If I could tell you words that would make you beat me in a fight, training would be pointless. I'm going to beat you because I've trained thousands of hours that you haven't trained. And I'm stronger than you, and I'm faster than you, and I know things you don't know. Just work. It's going to be hard, but you'll get to the end. If you're going to sit here and feign the quest for knowledge to try and obscure your laziness, you're just going to continuously get battered and destroyed forever. That's the bottom line. That's the only way to get anywhere in life. It's so important. Dedicate yourself for 1 month. You say, you know what, for 1 month, I won't be a jackass. 1 month. By the end of that month, you'll understand the world in a different way. You'll have money you never would have had before. It takes 1 month of your life. Think of what you were doing a month ago. How much time have you wasted? And that's what's important. It's extremely important you understand that the universe works the same. It's not going to give it to lazy idiots. It's going to give it to people who actually try and actually work. Some people deserve to be poor and are born to lose. Poor people are often poor because they were given 1,000 chances and didn't do anything. If you want something, you find time. So don't sit and lie to me and pretend that you want to network and you can't do it, and you want to make money and you don't have time. Because if you really wanted to, you'd be able to do everything. If you can sleep just fine being broke, then guess what? You're always going to be broke. If you go to bed and you can't sleep because you're furious at the fact that I can buy a new supercar every day and you don't have a single one, then you might do something about it. But there's no such thing as busy. There's no such thing as don't have time. That's all garbage. And I think one of the biggest problems with the world today is that men keep talking about how they feel. There's not a single man around me who says, I feel. You wake up and you have a list of things that need to be done. You're either going to do them or you're going to make excuses. And how you feel has no bearing on that list. The list must be completed irregardless of how you feel. So why are we even putting importance on those feelings? If you have values, whatever they are, then you're going to have to sustain those values. If you don't work for something or you're not prepared to suffer or struggle for something, then you don't love it and you don't believe in it anyway. If you love a woman, you'll struggle to keep her. Right. If you're not working for it, then you don't love it anyway. So the values come with obligations, and those obligations are to fulfill your duty irregardless of how you feel. If you ask the average man to think back on the times of his life that he really suffered or he hated, usually if they're a good man, retrospectively, they're glad they happened. War is certain for all of us. We're all fighting different battles. You can either suffer the intense pain it requires to become a somebody or suffer the intense pain of being a forever nobody. Pain is an extremely important part of the equation. The worst thing that can happen to you as a man is you live a life with no pain in it. To be born into a rich family and have a nice, easy life, and you don't have to go to the gym and not have to train because you have bodyguards. You're going to be miserable and unhappy and a drug addict buying prostitutes. You're only going to feel confident in yourself and feel happy when you've been through hell and come out the other side. So, the person who is waiting for you, he requires your motivation. It also requires huge amounts of pain. So when bad things happen to you, do not sit at home and lament. Instead, look in the mirror and say, thank you, God, for giving me one of the ingredients that is needed for the chemical concoction that is going to turn me into a superhero. I want you to get pen and paper and write down everything you want to achieve in the next 4 years, the children you want to have, the car you want to drive, the money you want to make. I guarantee you, every single thing you write down on that piece of paper is going to come true. Everyone has a dream. But not many people have a plan. A dream and a plan are different things. When you say to guys, do you want to be rich? Yeah, I want to be rich. How will you get rich? When's the last time something fantastic has ever happened on accident? When's the last time you've seen a big jacked dude and you say, hey man, how'd you get so jacked? And he goes, dunno, oops. No, he planned it. He went to the gym, he ate a certain way. It's exactly the same with getting rich. You need a plan to get rich. Everyone out there has a dream, but very few people have a plan.
The best thing about being a man is that you get to build your character. It's very much like a video game. You start off and you get to decide which of your stats you're going to work on. A lot of people aren't sure what they even want. So first you need to decide what you want to do and what you want to be, and then you need to start working towards it.
You have to design your dream life. Who's your woman going to be? Is she blonde? Is she brunette? What car are you going to drive? You can design your dream car right now, and you can choose the color. You can choose the wheels. You can choose the carb. How much does it cost to the dollar? You don't even know what your dream life is.
How do you expect to get to a destination when you don't know where you're going?
You don't need drugs. You don't need alcohol. You don't need parties or festivals. You don't need fun. Fun is the vector from which Satan operates. No money to be made. You don't retire your mother. You don't help the world. You don't give to charity. You don't become stronger. You don't become wiser. You don't learn anything. It's all just hedonistic. Life's not about fun as a man. Life is about doing the right thing because it must be done. And there are some things which are fun that you could do, which perhaps involve skill. Driving a supercar around a racetrack is fun, cool. But a lot of this fun that is easily accessible to everyone, because not everybody can get a Ferrari on a closed racetrack. You do not need fun until you've already reached the highest possible echelon. So this whole idea that you need fun in your life, you don't. What you need is purpose. You need discipline. You need things to do which are going to benefit you and the others around you. You need obligations, and you need performance metrics. You don't need to be waking up thinking about fun. You're not important. Nobody knows who you are. You're not physically strong. You're not financially wealthy. You have bigger concerns. Hey, what are we going to do this weekend? We need to have some fun. Really? Have you actually gone out there in the universe and made a mark large enough that you're allowed some time off to have some fun? You don't deserve any fun. You don't need any fun. You have work to do. These things you think are fun aren't fun. For a man, your contentment will come from your purpose, and it will come from your competence, and it will come from succeeding objectives. It will come from completing difficult things that other people cannot complete. It will never come from the easily accessible hedonism, which you have confused for fun. If everybody can go to that concert, you shouldn't want to go. You should only want to do things others can't do. The only fun I have is doing things I know you're not allowed to do. But if you say to me, Andrew, come to this party, and I say, well, who's there? Everyone. If everyone's there, it's trash. I've trained hard that day. I've made a couple $1 million. I've checked on all the people I love, all the people I care about. My children are fed. Their mothers are taken care of. That is fun. If you say to me, Andrew, skip a portion of that organization and professionalism so that we can go and do something that everyone else can do, my answer will be no. And the fact that you think that's fun shows that you have a severe mental deficiency. You're only going to find actual fun through purpose, and you're only going to find purpose through exceptionalism. So you need to become the best possible version of yourself in all realms. You're unhappy because you're trying to have fun instead of trying to become important. And you're never going to feel satisfied in your heart unless you become important. Please imagine for a second you're the most Googled man on the planet. Hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're built like a tank. Imagine how you feel when you look in the mirror. Nothing can match that, and nothing can beat that. So how do you find happiness? Happiness is in struggle. The struggle and the size of the struggle you're facing, along with how important it is and how important you feel it is deep in your heart, is directly correlated to how successful and how happy you're going to feel all of the time. Solving those problems lead to a positive place. Once you become addicted to it, you're going to become a machine of monumental achievement. There are some very simple basic things you can do. Weight training, chess, trying your very best to take care of your mother, retire her. You need goals and resistance and something to fight against to live well. If you only have joy all of the time and no pain, you are not going to be happy. Difficult lives are fulfilling because we used to have to hunt and fish and go through difficulty to survive. And I often see that when I speak to people who are too comfortable, they end up being unhappy. You must earn happiness. You must climb a mountain. You must struggle yourself to happiness. That's extremely important. There must be physical, mental, social, some kind of spiritual struggle. And those things being satisfied is what's going to satisfy you. The only other alternative to that, to feel good, is hedonism. And that's not going to satisfy you for very long. And it's also going to destroy your life. So you need to pick the low-hanging fruit first. And the starting block to all of these things is your body. Try and train MMA, learn how to fight, get stronger, get bigger muscles. It's a fast track to self-discipline, which will carry over into all other endeavors. In fact, how many people can say the gym saved their life? The low-hanging fruit is your body and upgrading your body. That is the easiest struggle, which is never going to backfire on you and never going to be a negative towards any other facet of your life. I actually find it amazing that there's people out there who aren't in perfect physical condition. Guys, let me tell you all a newsflash. If you eat right and you train hard, you look good. It's almost impossible to be fat and look bad if you eat right and train hard. So why don't you all look like superheroes? Do you not understand how intimidating that is just when they look at a group of people and they all look like superheroes and they can tell they're all disciplined, all dedicated, all physically strong? The struggle is what's beautiful about it. First, you want to become as strong as physically possible. Next, you want to try and make as much money as possible. Not even necessarily for the money, although money is extremely important because it allows you to take care of yourself, but there's the challenge involved, and solving that challenge is going to make you feel more satisfied as a human. Happiness comes from success, and making money is success. People are afraid of accepting there's a problem because then they know they have a responsibility towards fixing it. And they don't want to do anything, one, because they're lazy, and two, because they're afraid they might lose. So they'd rather pretend there's no problem at all. And I think it's not always the winning and the losing. It's the fighting in the first place. And there's plenty of men in history you remember who ended up losing in the end, who still fought, which is why they mattered. It's not, if you're only going to fight when you're guaranteed to win, then no bravery is required. Forget about the winning and losing for now. Focus on the fight. If you do not overcome your tendency to give up so easily, your life will lead to nothing. Fear is a reaction. Courage is a decision. You have to train your mind to be stronger than your emotions, especially your impulses, or else you're going to lose yourself. Most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by men who kept fighting when there seemed to be no hope at all.
How are you going to complain that it's hard to be the man, but then also understand that being the man has value? They are linked. You cannot separate the two. It's a logic fail. If you love the idea of being that character you dream of yourself to be, then you should love the fact it's hard to become that man, because it means no one else can do it. I know the shit I've been through to become who I am, and I wouldn't trade a second of it, because there's also this massive juxtaposition which is so important for masculine happiness and contentment. I'll tell you the coolest thing about being rich. Remember when I was broke? It's only cool to sit there with my brother in the fucking Nurse restaurant with Salt Bae being an idiot, spending 15 G's and saying, do you remember when we didn't have a penny? 15 grand for dinner? We never had 15 grand in our savings account in our lives. Damn. Do you remember that time we were living off those 10p packs of noodles for 2 weeks? You need this juxtaposition. There is no light without dark. You will not appreciate your six pack unless you didn't have one and you had to earn it. That's how the world works. You know what, Tate? Yeah, I agree, but you know, it's hard. It's hard. Of course it is. It's supposed to be. And if you're not cut out for it, then f*** off and live a normal existence and die. Sit there, letting other men enjoy the spoils of being a man and f***ing die. If that's what you want to do, is just sit there and exist and then fade into history unremembered. That's your decision.
People say that depression is stigmatized. It's the complete opposite. It's accepted now to the point where it's almost promoted. It's insane. Let me tell you something. Depression is not real. Feeling depressed is real. You can feel depressed, but you feel depressed, and that is a natural biological evolutionary trigger for you to change something in your life. That's your own mind telling you you're unhappy about X. If I went to jail today, I'd be depressed because I'm in jail. I don't have a disease. I'm just upset with my situation. I have people mess me all the time. I'm fat and I can't get a girlfriend because I'm depressed. I'm like, no, pancake lover. You're depressed because you're fat and you can't get a girlfriend. Do you understand? For a lot of people, your life is depressing. A lot of you out there, if you're sitting there and you say you suffer from depression, you probably live a depressing life. You probably live a depressing life. So if I was you, I'd be depressed. But if you were me, you'd be happy. Do you know what could solve depression for most poor people? $1 million in the bank. So how is it a disease? This absolute acceptance of depression and acceptance of weakness. When you accept anything, to a degree, you're promoting it. Weakness is promoted now in men. Yeah. So let's take Robin Williams as an example. Robin Williams killed himself, right? Famous. He could be banging 19-year-olds for the rest of his life. Multi-millionaire. Everyone loves him. How could he possibly kill himself? I'll tell you why. Because when he walked into the therapist's office and said, I feel depressed, the therapist said, okay, here's some mind-altering drugs. Start taking these for the next 10 years. If I had to take mind-altering drugs and talk about sad shit for 6 hours a day for 10 years, I'd kill myself. But if he would have walked into the therapist's office and the therapist said to him, you're Robin Williams. There are people in the world with no food. There are families in Syria. There are school buses being bombed in Yemen. There are people who lost their entire family in a car crash today. You're Robin Williams and everyone you love is in perfect health. You're a selfish idiot. Get out of my office. He'd still be alive today. The cure made it worse. And this whole society of accepting depression, as soon as someone's depressed, instantly go to them, oh, poor you. It's okay. We know you can't help it. You can't help it. Why are you telling people they can't help it? Why are you reinforcing that mindset in people? If you come to me and say you're depressed, I say, I will fix you. And you know what's crazy? When I said this depression thing wasn't real, do you know how many people stuck up for depression? You don't understand. I'm depressed. Depression's real. I was like, if it's so horrible, why are you defending it? You sound like it's a PR team. I thought it was ruining your life, but you are desperate for me to believe in it. You want me to believe in it. You're sticking up for it. You're defending depression, trying to convince me it's real because it's your
your cure-all excuse for failure. I fail at everything, but I'm depressed. It's not my fault. No, you're a failure because you're not trying very hard. If you live in a house, I say this all the time. This is the reason I don't believe in depression. Because I don't believe in depression, I cannot become depressed. No matter what the worst thing that could possibly happen to me on earth, I will feel sad, but I will recover and I will not become depressed because I don't believe in depression. If you're in an old haunted house, you have two people in two haunted houses. One believes in ghosts and one doesn't. You hear some noise in the night. The wind blows, right? The man who believes in ghosts is like, oh no, a ghost. Now he's scared. He wants an exorcist. He can't sleep. He's scared about ghosts. He's paranoid. The guy who doesn't believe in ghosts goes, wind, whatever, and goes back to sleep. Do you understand that it's the belief that gives it power? If you don't believe in ghosts, the ghost can't hurt you. If you don't believe in depression, you can't become depressed. And I refuse to believe in something that's going to weaken me. Why would I believe in something that's going to weaken my ability to deal with problems in life? Why would I do that? I'm temporarily immortal. Do you understand? I'm temporarily immortal. And I'm not going to waste my living years believing in things which take power from me. Because I'm not an idiot. So if you're going to sit there and go, depression is real, actually, you don't understand the problems I'm going through, you're a moron. And the great thing about morons is, as you lose, there's no light without dark, right? There's no joy without pain. Of course. For me to be a winner, there needs to be losers. But you're not going to convince me to join your way of thinking. The last thing, anyone who's watching this, I want you to understand, the last thing you should ever do is adopt the thinking of someone who is sad. Bam. Why would you want to think like the sad person? I'm sad and I'm semi-suicidal. You should have the same views and beliefs as me.
No,
depression.
Damn.
It ain't real. There, I'm just blowing out the water. It's not real. You can come at me and say whatever you want. It's not real.
I do not believe in things that take away power from me. I only believe in things that make me more powerful as an individual. Feeling depressed is real, but being a depressive or having depression is something else. I accept that if I do feel depressed or I do feel sad or I do feel negative, which is actually very rare for me, but if it does ever happen, I understand I'm human and it's an emotion I'm going through and it will pass. People who have depression believe that they have a disease that can't be fixed and can't be cured. You are handing your power away. You need to at least believe you have some degree of control. The idea, I believe, that if you feel depressed, something is depressing you, and you should try your best to fix it. You should take control of your life and do your best to fix it. They don't talk that. They say depression like it's this magic thing that comes out the sky and it gets in your brain. You're sad no matter what. And there's nothing you can do about it, and you need to only take pills. And that's a bad idea to subscribe to. And if you start to feel depressed, let's say your girl leaves you and you start to feel depressed, you're now going to start diagnosing yourself as clinically depressed. Yeah. And it's amazing how you can speak things into existence. I talk to people all the time like, oh, I'm unhappy, I'm depressed. And I'm like, stop saying it. You're happy, my friend, because you're talking. If you're truly unhappy, you don't talk. Think of the last time you lost a family member. The first thing you did is you sat in silence for half an hour. If you're running your mouth down the pub about being unhappy, you're attention seeking. That's what you're doing. I absolutely refuse to take my own power away. There are so many things in the world trying to kill us. Like, you got enemies. You got people on the streets with blades. You got bacterias. I've got enough enemies. Why am I going to take my own power away?
Why would I not adopt the mindset that makes me the most capable predator I can possibly be? Why not adopt the mindset that makes me as competent and as fearsome as possible? I don't believe in depression because even the belief in and of itself, when you feel depressed, you'll start to consider, maybe I have depression. Then you go see a psychiatrist and they want you on pills. It's the belief that goes down the spiral. If I feel sad, I go, I'm depressed today. I'll be fine tomorrow.
A lot of people are pretending depression is why their life is shit, when in reality, their life is shit, which is why they're depressed. I believe that the number one cure for depression for 99% of people on the earth is $10 million. You find me someone depressed in the fucking ghetto in Glasgow, and let's give him a ton of money, and watch his face light up. You haven't got a disease, you're unhappy with your surroundings.
You have to have ownership of everything good that's ever happened to you and everything bad that's ever happened to you. I have complete ownership for the fact I was canceled. They're lying about me and they're talking shit, but I own it and I took responsibility for it. And I sat there and I took absolute accountability and I thought, okay, how can I turn this in my favor? And I beat them. I get this all the time. People say, oh, my girl left me. Why? I don't know. She just left. What do you mean you don't fucking know? Mm-hmm. Oh, because she wanted If you think long enough, you'll realize it's because of you. You can sit and say what she did and what she wanted, blah, blah. It's because you couldn't keep her. So it's your fault and you're not self-reflecting. And then you're going to go into your next relationship. And because you didn't self-reflect and you haven't grown, you haven't done anything, guess what's going to happen? She's going to leave you again. You're as competent as possible if you believe absolutely everything that's happened to you, whether good or bad, is completely your fault. When you tell the world that depression can't be solved, what you're doing is absolving yourself from all responsibility. I no longer have to stand up and work hard and try and be something because it doesn't matter how hard I work because I'll be depressed anyway. They're being ignorant on purpose to avoid doing the hard work. That's all it really is. Every single person watching this, go look in the mirror. Do you deserve to be happy? Look yourself in the eye. The answer is probably fucking not. You don't deserve it. Everything in life that is valuable must be earned. Peace of mind must be earned. Happiness must be earned. When I look at the lives of people who tell me they're depressed, I look at them and think, you know what? If I was you, I'd be fucking depressed. Because your life is shit. But whose fault is that? And what they'll do is they'll try and outsource it. Well, I had a bad star, or this happened to me, that happened to me. Suck it up, buttercup. Shit happens to everybody. If you're the kind of person who deserves a good life and works their ass off and genuinely wants it and tries very hard, guess what you get 99% of the time? A good life. The thing that makes a good man a man is that he does what he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to work and he works anyway. He doesn't want to get up, he gets up anyway. That's the whole point of it. We didn't want to die in the Titanic. Guess what happened? We died in the Titanic. So when a man sits there and says, oh, but you don't understand, I'm struggling with motivation. If you are struggling with the motivation to be a winner, then stay a fucking loser. Don't care. For me, happiness is not a good indicator on how life should be lived. Happiness to me is a super interesting concept because when people come to me and say, I'm not happy, I say, why should you be happy? Who told you should be happy all the time without working for it? Happiness is at the top of a mountain somewhere. You ain't been anywhere. You haven't even climbed it. Happiness is the number one thing that must be earned. And I'll tell you that my happiness is based on very real world achievements. I couldn't be happy if I was broke. I couldn't be happy if I was obese. I couldn't be happy if I was lonely. I couldn't be happy in those scenarios. So I made sure none of them scenarios came true. I have earned my happiness via hard work. And every single guy who hasn't got it probably doesn't deserve it. The universe is very giving and very fair. People seem to think that the world is unfair. And those are all the same people who tell themselves they're unlucky. I believe God is a very giving being and that the world all in all generally balances out and is pretty fair. If you're the kind of person who deserves a good life and works their ass off and genuinely wants it and tries very hard, guess what you get 99% of the time? A good life. The universe is pretty fair and pretty balanced. I've yet to meet somebody who gets up every day, does what they're supposed to do, works hard, goes to the gym, makes their money, looks after it, is sensible, doesn't blow it, etc., who then fails. You may want something, but you certainly don't deserve it. And that's why you don't have it. As a man, you have a burden of performance. As a man, you shouldn't be waking up going, how do I get happy? As a man, you wake up and say, okay, how do I perform? You know, and happiness will come at the end of the performance anyway. If you're unhappy with your life and you're depressed, I don't expect you to be popping pills and sitting laying in bed. I expect you to give me a huge list of everything you're achieving per day. You know, but people are told the opposite. No, you feel depressed. That's wrong. You should be happy anyway. Take the pills, stay home, take some time off. Complete garbage. You're depressed. Okay, get up, go for a run. Let's get a second job. You can outrun depression. Happy or sad, the push-ups must be done. It's called duty. It's called honor. It's called pride. The most ironic thing about all of this is that if you don't prioritize happiness and you prioritize feeling proud of yourself, you end up happy by extension. If I would have chosen to try and be happy, I would have never ended up happy. This infantile mindset that we're all supposed to be like we were when we were 3 years old and, oh, something shiny, laugh all the time, run around in circles, ooh, a cardboard box. We're grown-ups and we have responsibilities and you don't necessarily have to be happy to perform, especially if you're a man. Motivation isn't real. Motivation is not a real thing. People who train every day don't want to train every day. They are not motivated to train every day. They are something else. Motivation is the wrong word. They are not motivated. It's called discipline. It's called being a man. It's not about feeling like doing it. If you only do things you feel like doing, you know what you end up doing? You end up sitting around with a belly drinking soya latte bullshit. That's what you end up doing if you only do what you feel like doing. You have to wake up and say, I don't feel like training, but I must train. I will only drink water. I will stop being a loser. You need to do what you're supposed to do, not what you feel like fucking doing. That's the difference between a man and a fucking child. You do not become a man doing what you feel like doing. You become a man doing what you're supposed to fucking do. It's your duty. It is your duty to not be a fat piece of shit. You don't get anywhere in life without this. You don't get to just play video games and get rich. You have to turn up on time, look good, be sharp, be funny, be smart, remember things, charismatic. I come from the era of discipline. I come from the old school ways. So you're in a world now where you can just, without discipline, stumble your way to success. Congratulations. But truthfully, to be truly a man, the absolute true marker of a man is his ability to do the things he doesn't feel like doing. What else is a man good for if you don't do things you're not supposed to do? What would that make you if you sit around and only do what you feel like doing? What would that make you? So it doesn't matter if I'm happy or sad, I will still go and do X. That is my job. It's my duty as a man to do X. So that's what I'm going to do. somebody said to me before, they lack energy and they lack motivation. And I said, nobody lacks energy and motivation. You just focus it in the wrong directions. I would guarantee if you find a person who lacks energy and motivation, he's trying to get girls all day, he's messaging girls on Instagram all day who ignore him. I guarantee he gets road rage when somebody cuts him up. You get angry and you have energy and you have motivation when somebody pulls in front of you in traffic or when you see some on Instagram, but you don't have motivation to do anything else. You don't lack energy and motivation. It's pointing in the wrong direction. We all have an innate energy inside of us. We all have a life force. And most people are just directing it in the wrong direction completely. And that's why we're getting decimated in real time. The Matrix has come along and it's distracted us all with bread and circuses. I refuse to sign up to things that don't directly benefit my life or benefit the future for my children. I don't think if a sports team wins, it's going to benefit the future for my children. And I don't think if I jump up and down like a ketamine-taking peasant in a concert, it's going to benefit my children. You have 10 years left to save your bloodline from eternal slavery. And you lack motivation? You are born to lose, sir. All of your ancestors who fought saber-toothed tigers should have just laid down and died because they fought their best for you to be born so you can jack off to Pornhub during the last few years where you stand a chance to save your last name from eternal serfdom. You are and you deserve to be poor. The last thing you should lack in the mess of the world today is motivation. And I'm telling you as a rich man who made it out, I can see the gap is closing. So you should certainly see it. I'm above in the clouds, looking down on the hole closing in. You're down below, looking up, watching it close, and you lack motivation to build a ladder. Maybe government will save me. Maybe if I vote for the liberals, they'll give me money. Fools. The last thing you should lack in the world today is motivation, because truly people are running out of time. Well, I think that envy is designed to motivate, but the Matrix has taken envy and it's corrupted it. So I've told this story on other podcasts before, but I've been an envious person. I've told this story because it was so pertinent to me about how most people don't care. I was walking to school, and I used to have to walk about an hour each day to school, and it was raining, and I was walking. And I was walking with 3 of my friends in a Ferrari, pull up at the lights, made a bunch of noise, and I was standing there and I watched it. And then the light went green and he just tore off. I said to my friends, I was like, bro, how do we get Ferraris? My mom is on a council estate, single mother. She raises 3 kids on 300 pounds a month. We can barely afford food. He has 200 grand for a car. Something is broken. None of the teachers at school have Ferraris. None of our university professors have Ferrari. No one else I know has a Ferrari. What do we have to do to break the Matrix and find the money? This is all a lie. I want a Ferrari. And my friends were like, don't know. That's why I have Ferraris and they don't. That's why I now have 33 Ferraris. Because I was envious. I was envious of this man. Most people don't care. I turned envy into anger, and anger is power. But what we have people doing now, because they don't believe in themselves, because the Matrix has dampened their soul when they feel envious, because they want to level the playing field, which is all envy is. Instead of trying to elevate themselves, they try and drag others down. So when people look at my life and they're envious of me, what they should say is, he's truly from the most humble possible socioeconomic beginnings. He is a person of color from a council estate, a single mother household, and he made it up to the highest echelons. He's on the phone with Elon Musk and his ability. He can do it, I can do it. But they don't believe in themselves. So what they do instead is, well, I want to level the playing field, so I got to drag him down. It's just laziness. Because you feel envious, but you don't have enough fire about yourself to go out there and attack the world and equal the playing field with vigor. So you want to equal the playing field by dragging someone else down. It's just laziness. Lazy people act that. I understand why a lot of people doubt themselves. A lot of people doubt themselves because they're incompetent. You'd have to be a megalomaniac to not doubt yourself if you're an incompetent individual, right? If you're an idiot or you're shit at things, of course you're going to doubt yourself, because you should, because you fail all the time. The only way you're going to start to not doubt yourself is if you show some competence, if you grow into a competent individual and perpetually succeed, as I do. I don't doubt myself because I never fail. Whereas if all I did was fail all of the time, of course I'm going to doubt myself. So your mentality is heavily linked to your reality. And the fact that most people have such weak mindsets comes from the fact that they have a weak life,
A weak body, a weak social circle, a weak network, a weak bank account, a weak relationship, and then their mind is weak. Well, of course, if you were strong, if your woman would never leave you no matter what because she idolizes you, then your mentality would be strong. Your mind would be strong by extension. So if someone comes to me and goes, I doubt myself, I usually look at them and go, yeah, I understand why. You're a little fat piece of shit and you're stupid. Of course you do. If I was you, I'd doubt myself too.
If you know good men, all they want to do is most of the time is work. What men who are good want to do most of the time is some version of work. Training, making money, organizing their life, getting their car clean, whatever. It's a degree of work. Women love fun. Women want fun all the time. And fun is where all the haramities appear. It's where all the negative organs appear. You're only going to get in a fight if you're going out trying to have fun. Drugs and rape charges and physical violence and assassination, this all is linked to fun.
Yeah.
If you want fun, you're dragging all this shit into your life. Money. You can avoid a lot of bad things. Someone goes, you want to go out? I'm like, no, I'm going to sit here on my computer. I'm boring, but I guess it generates millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. So if you have goals you want to achieve, I ask you, what people do you have around you? What network do you have around you? People you can sit down with and they are competent and they're not lazy and they're not stupid and they're not self-interested and they believe in the greater cause where you can work as a fraternity to achieve said goals. Mm-hmm. How are we going to do this? We now want to do this. How shall we do it? And we got it done.
People often say to me, oh, but Tate, you're lucky. You're a kickboxer and you were talented. Yeah, I was talented, but I didn't find out I was talented until I was disciplined. If I wasn't disciplined enough to train, I would have never seen my talent. You don't get to discover anything about who you are as an individual, your spirit, your soul, what you're made of. Without discipline, you can't even discover anything. Discipline teaches you all about yourself. It teaches you what you really have. You know, there's a whole bunch of people out there that might be the best pianist in the world, but they've never had the discipline to learn piano. So nobody knows. I make millions and millions of dollars and people look at me and go, oh, but how? And I'm like, what do you mean how? Do the right things every day like you're supposed to, on time, every day. And life usually comes together. I really believe that. It's all about self-control and self-discipline and making sure that you are the center of your own universe. And a lot of people agree with this and a lot of people say this, but it's very rare to meet someone who's serious about it. If you're truly serious about brute willpower, you can achieve anything. And the reason nobody has discipline anymore is because it's not taught. And we also live in a world where everything and everybody is vying for our attention. There's ads everywhere. YouTube happens quickly. Kids are being raised with iPads. Like when I was a kid or you were a kid, we had a coloring book. How do you think you're going to keep his attention as he grows old? He's been entertained by some of the best software developers in the world permanently. So your attention's very, very difficult. And that's what discipline is, really. It's the ability to stay focused on one thing for a long period of time. Most people don't realize how bad their attention span is or how much discipline they lack until they really start to suffer from it. But as a man, if you don't have the ability to knuckle down and focus on something for a long time, life's going to punish you. And the reality of mastery and the reality of success is that it's not really a glamorous story. Like, how do you become the best boxer in the world? You do the same thing over and over for 15 years. Like, it's boring. That's what discipline is. So the idea that a lot of people want to be constantly entertained, people want to be constantly motivated. I train every single day and I'm never motivated, but I'm disciplined. I've been training my whole life. I'm bored of it, but it's something that has to be done. So the idea of entertainment, the idea of motivation, these things are completely detrimental to discipline. I don't care if you feel like doing X. You must do X or you will stay a loser.
It's difficult to think of a scenario where being brave would be a negative mindset for you to be able to tap into, because bravery affords new options you haven't previously considered. If you're a coward, you don't have certain options on the chessboard because you simply don't have the bravery to make X moves. But if you are brave, you can analyze these moves. So you have a whole bunch of moves that most people don't have. Most people do not have the bravery to consider alternate paths. You need to be able to look at the chess moves that most people will not be prepared to make. And most people live very afraid. So bravery is an extremely important skill to hone. It's something you should practice. You should often sit and think, what would be the bravest decision I could make in this scenario? What would be the bravest one I could possibly make? And consider it. I'm not saying do it, but you should get in the mental model of considering it. Because quite often when you're a coward, brave decisions don't even cross your mind, ever. They don't even cross your psyche. They're not even something that's interesting to you. You haven't trained your mind to consider them. So you need to train your mind to consider bravery, because bravery is something that is going to universally apply throughout your life. It doesn't matter if you're rich. It doesn't matter if you're poor. It doesn't matter if you're in Thailand. It doesn't matter if you're in Peru. Having the option to be extremely brave and consider the options which are afforded only to a brave person is going to be something which is always going to benefit you. So it's very important that you consider and think about bravery as a whole, something I want you to hone. Life is sales. Convincing a woman to love you is sales. Work is sales. Life is sales. So fantastic thing to learn. Boxing, once again, fantastic thing to learn. It's very good. Your body and mind are connected. You cannot have a strong mind without having a strong body. Fantastic. Who should you be before you become rich? Well, money is an amplifier. Money's not going to change who you are. It's going to amplify who you are. If you're a good person, it'll make you a very good person. If you're a bad person, it'll make you a very bad person. If you're a weak person, it'll make you very weak and cowardly and scared. If you're a strong person, it'll make you very brave. Money amplifies. So you actually kind of have to hope that you don't get rich too early before you've struggled enough, because men are built on the back of struggle. You have to go through pain and terrible things as a man and struggle constantly to be a good man. No man who has not struggled is a good man or good at being a man. But don't worry, I think God has a plan for you. You should be trying your absolute best to get rich all of the time. You should be struggling and working as hard as possible. And all of those lessons that will come with all the suffering and the difficulty will be amplified by the time you're a multimillionaire and you'll become the best version of yourself. That's how you become a top G. Wake up every day and be prepared to give 100% focus to all of the things you do. That's all you have to worry about. It's kind of like, if you worry about the work, the results come. The results are easy. Guys, money is easy. Money is easy. Women are easy. The life you want is easy. All you have to do is fall in love with the work. If you fall in love with the work, fall in love with being good at doing your work, getting it done, never missing a day, because the easiest way to make sure you never miss a lucky day is to try every single day. Lucky days exist, and you're never going to know if you have a lucky day or not unless you try every single day. Then you're never going to miss any lucky days, and you're going to pull it off, and you're going to realize it wasn't actually that difficult. All it took was consistency and constant effort, never being lazy and doing everything I'm supposed to do properly. When you tolerate something, you're admitting you deserve it. You're going to get exactly what you deserve in life, from women, from masculine friendship, financially, respect on the street, luck. You get the luck you deserve. If you try your very best in all things and you pray and you're really thankful to God and you say thank you all the time, you start to become very lucky. Lucky things start to happen. You get the luck you deserve when you try. It's truly remarkable. When a woman looks at you and goes, he can do anything he says he's going to do, that's when you become instantly attractive. Competence is extremely important. That's the masculine world. And peacocking built this world. Don't let losers and brokies sit and say to you, oh, all our graves are the same, it doesn't matter. No, it does matter. You were not born to suffer and die without being remembered or leaving a mark on this planet. You weren't born for that. You were born to do something great and to be remembered. You were born to leave offspring, which are so fantastic, raised in your image, that you, by proxy, are discussed into eternity. Your bloodline becomes synonymous with competence and capability. That's why you were born. The reason the male peacock shows its feathers is to say, look what I have. There is nothing wrong with that. That's what built the modern world. All of the explorers who risked their lives on the 7 seas did it to say, look what I did. The most beautiful buildings around you, the cathedrals, all these things that were built by men saying, look what we have done. We have done something other people cannot do. Flexing in and of itself is not a stupid idea. It's actually a biological norm amongst men. Don't be confused. You don't want to flex asininities. You want to flex capabilities. You want to flex competence. You want to flex, look what I can do, which others cannot do. And respect often lies on the other side of fear. If there's a decision that everybody's afraid to do, but you do it, that is what's going to get you respected by your peers. But masculine brotherhood has been the basis of keeping you accountable. It's very easy for you to become the best version of yourself if all the men around you are pushing you all of the time. And they're ensuring that they are being their best selves, which is constantly pushing and striving towards successes. This is what you're supposed to do. You always have. This is why even boxers, although they fight alone, they train as part of a camp with other boxers. You're always pushing yourself all of the time. That's the primary objective of masculinity, is to leave your mark on the world. And it's easiest to do that if you have brothers behind you who are pushing you to be your best self. I don't know how to keep that fire going. What should I do? This is a really interesting question, actually, because it amazes me that so many people in the world still today, even though we have instant access via social media to the truly successful, believe anything they've done matters. So you've made 100 grand. You're still poor. That's nothing. That is nothing. 100 grand is nothing. It is my cigar bill for a month. It's nothing. You've changed nothing. You've achieved nothing. You need to compare yourself always and constantly to somebody who is outperforming you. You need to stop being so happy with yourself for these tiny little successes. This is what they teach inside of common pop psychology classes. Yeah, and take the small success and be happy with it and put little milestones and reward yourself for achieving the little milestone. No, that's not what you should do. The point is, the fact you can have a little tiny success and quit shows that there's something wrong with your mentality and your firmware in the first place. You don't know what success is. I don't consider myself successful. So how can you consider yourself successful enough to not work? All I do is work. I work 7 days a week, 18 hours a day, every single day, never missed a day, headache or not, ever. So I don't understand this mindset. And you see a lot of people do it, right? They'll say, oh yeah, I had a really great week and I made some money and now I'm in Costa Rica. You're never going to win that way. People often say to the extremely wealthy people, why do you work all the time? All you do is work. If I was as rich as you, I'd just go on holidays. Not understanding that the kind of person who goes on holidays when they have money is not the kind of person who becomes truly rich. The kind of people who become truly rich are the people who work every day no matter what, which is why all of the people who are truly rich are workaholics, because it's the only way to really get there. You can get to a certain point once you're a trillionaire, you're Jeff Bezos or whatever, that you can take some days off. I'm not saying that, but the point I'm making is you need to fall in love with being happy with yourself for how hard you've dedicated yourself to a task. That needs to be more satisfying to you than relaxing. Relaxing is probably the most boring thing you can possibly say for me to do. Say, Andrew, do you want to go relax? I say, what do? Stare at a wall? That sounds terrible. Nothing is worse than relaxing. I don't want to relax. I want to work. That's all I want to do is work. Because if I work and I achieve things, I feel good inside. I got something done. I feel good. I feel happy. If I just relax, nothing's been achieved, so I don't see the point of it. It doesn't even relax me. In fact, it makes me very anxious. So then I feel more stressed than if I was just doing the work in the first place, which is why relaxing is impossible for me. And he said, well, it sounds like you have an anxiety disorder. If it's a disorder that allows me to constantly work all of the time and never be happy unless all of my work is complete, thank God I have it, because if I didn't have this disorder, I'd be a normal jackass like you. Guys, time is running out for a chance to win. It truly is. You guys are truly running out of time. It's very important that you get your act together quickly. So if you want to call it anxiety disorder, then get one. Don't be talking about headaches. Don't be talking about working. Don't be arguing with women. You have things to do, right? Doesn't matter if you have a headache or not. You must work. Anxiety sounds like free energy. Could give me more. Absolutely. Anxiety is exactly that. It's free energy. Nervousness is free energy. The inability to rest or relax or sleep is free energy. You just have to have the discipline to direct it in the correct directions. You need to sit at home and feel this fire inside of you because you do not have all of the money you want, all of the respect you want, and your name has not been echoed into eternity. You're not etched into the halls of history. You need to take all of that fire inside of you and all of that anger and direct it at one task. And you need to try your absolute best to ensure you succeed in that task. It's down to you. I can't drag you across the finish line. I can only show you where the race is and try and hype you up before you run. I can take you to the start line. I can tell you you can do it. I can tell you how fantastic it is when the race is over. I can tell you it is worth it, but you have to be the one to run the race. I can't carry you. If you're going to ask me stupid questions about headaches, you're never going to make it. There's going to be a huge contingent of the populace that never make it. But when you do, it is worth it because you're remembered. And that's the whole point of being alive as a man in the first place, is to go down in history. It's not to go through life comfortably. It's not to go through life without struggle, without pain. The point of being a man in the first place is so that you suffer enough for people to remember you, to die for something, to live for something. That's the whole point in all of this. There's nothing else to do, and make your name synonymous with something fantastic which has affected humanity and culture. That's all it's about. And it's very difficult to do that if you're insignificant and broke and lazy and stupid with a fucking headache. I don't think most of you realize that you do not have time. Everything is time. Time can be converted into anything. We all know time can be converted into money. People say often, time is money. This is true. Money is also time. You spend money to save time. Time is the enemy of the rich man, so he takes a private jet to save time. Money is the enemy of a poor man, so he waits for the bus to save money. But they're the same thing, money and time. So when I say you don't have time, this is something you need to remember because it's extremely important and you can apply it to most things. You do not have time to have a headache. Do you understand? I'm not saying you don't have a headache. I'm not saying your head doesn't hurt, but you don't have time for it to affect your life. You do not have the waking hours. You are being outcompeted and crushed by people who are more powerful and more connected than you'll possibly ever be, by people who know things you do not know. You do not have time to have a headache. It's simply not acceptable.
How do you perform when you have headaches is a stupid question. The fact you've even framed it in that way shows that you don't understand the world. I'll give you another example. You don't have time to argue with your woman. Your woman started an argument today or yesterday, whenever, and you've been texting back and forth. You don't have time. You have things to do. There's unlimited work in the universe. You don't have time to have a headache or message girls or scroll Instagram. You don't have time for any of these things. Time is your lifeblood. It's all you've got. You can turn time into reputation. You could turn time into global fame. You could turn time into respect. You could turn time into a fantastic body. You could do anything with your time. You could choose a random embassy. You could choose a random country that you have beef with. Chile. And you could go stand outside the Chilean embassy with a sign saying, "Down with Chile," for no reason. But if you stood there every single day, after about 2 years, people would be like, who is this guy? And why does he hate Chile so much? You can turn your time into anything you want. So how are you going to waste it sitting around saying, I have a headache? Boo, boo, I have a headache. But the question is framed incorrectly. If I have a headache, I don't care. And one of the main reasons I don't care is because my enemy doesn't care. You know, when I got injured, when I was training for fights, my coach would often say to me, is your enemy going to hit you less or show you mercy because of this injury? If you say, okay, we're about to fight, but halfway through the training camp, I hurt my foot. So, take it easy. No, he's going to try and destroy me anyway. So if he doesn't care, why do I care? And why does my coach care? Nobody cares. The people who are trying to steal your woman, and trust me, everyone is. The people who are trying to take the money that you want to earn and put it in their pocket before you can. The people who want to have large and gorgeous feathers on their peacock to show the world all the amazing things they've done. They don't care that you have a headache. So why do you care? You need to reprogram your mind. You don't have time to have a headache. You don't have time to be doing the majority of things you do. And there's always been and always will be, and we could talk about that again. We were talking earlier about competence, right? Do you think a woman sees you as competent if you complain about having a headache? Let's say you have a headache. It's fine. You have a headache. I'm not disputing that. Maybe it really hurts. That's terrible. If you go, oh, I've got such a bad headache. Do you think a woman looks at you and goes, yes. Oh, I found the guy for me. She may not say anything. She may say, oh, do you want a pill? But really deep down, this guy's a dickhead. I mean, if you got hit in the head with a hammer or shot in the face, fine. But why do you have a headache? From what? Scrolling TikTok. A lot of you deserve the failure you endure. The universe is very giving. I often believe people say the world's not fair. I'd argue that karmic retributions, and in the long run, all in all, is pretty fair. Karmic retributions are real. In the end, God gives you exactly what you deserve. So if you're not happy with your life, you have to ask yourself, do you really deserve more? Have you really tried 100% of the time? Did you ignore that headache? Are you as competent as you could possibly be? Have you given 100% every time you've done anything? No, you deserve what you have. You deserve your mediocrity because you're an average person. You want a Lambo and these women and a boat and whatever else you want because you see it on Instagram. But wanting something and deserving something are very different things. If you truly deserved it, you'd be working for it in a way that ensures it would be given to you by the universe. Every single thing I've ever wanted, I have got. Maybe not instantly, maybe not easily. In fact, certainly not both. It was always difficult and it always took time, but I really wanted them, so I always got them. And I put in enough work to show God and show the universe I deserved them, so he gave them to me. I cannot remember a single time, and I state this as a matter of fact, this is not hyperbole, I cannot remember a single time I have ever decided not to do something that must be done because I had a headache. Ever. Ever. It is easier if you enjoy it, because you do not struggle with lack of motivation or lack of interest. For me to say you could honestly be world champion at something you hate is a lie. You can, however, be competent at things you don't like. You can be very good at something you don't like doing. To be the best in the world, you probably have to fall in love with it. But the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And you can fall in love with the idea of being good in general. So anything I do, I don't want to be bad at. I either don't do it or I try my very best all the time to become extremely good at it. I don't see the point in doing anything and being mediocre or being bad at it. What's the point? If I'm going to speak on podcasts, I want to be good at it. Anything I'm going to do, I want to be good at. Now, you should have enough respect for yourself that you're prepared to always put in the effort to give your best 100% because it is a habit. You should always give your best to anything you do. When you pick up a video game, you should give your best. When you drive a car, you should attempt to drive as efficiently as possible, using the brake as little as possible to not waste fuel, to make sure there's no close calls, no sudden braking. Most of you are just getting in your car and driving like a jackass from point A to point B, not trying to actually go, you know what, let me drive and pretend I have the queen in the back seat and I can't even brake suddenly. And I only have a fraction of fuel. How far can I go if I very smoothly, very calmly anticipate the traffic in advance, move my car in and out of the car so I barely have to brake, keep moving slowly and smoothly? Let me try and get good at this. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. And it is a habit to be good at things. There's nothing wrong with just being good at things. To be the best in the world, you have to love it. That's true. But you're not going to love the majority of things you do. That's not realistic. The world's not going to afford you a life where everything you do you're in love with. In fact, you're going to end up doing a whole bunch of things you don't want to do. And the life hack is, if you enjoy getting better at things, then you can be doing something you don't want to do better than you previously done it. And now you enjoy doing it because you were more competent and more capable at said task. You are now better at said task. Every single thing I approach with vigor because I like being good at things. And that's not because I'm arrogant. That's because I have enough respect for myself. And more importantly, I have enough respect for the people I love to know that I need to be good at things. When my children or when my women or my family or my people who rely on me, my brothers, anybody comes to me expecting me to do something for them, I need to have enough respect for them to know that I'm good at what they ask me to do. And if I don't know what they want me to do, or I'm not particularly good at it, I'm at least good at learning. You can become good at learning so that you learn things faster, good at concentrating, good at taking a scenario seriously. These are all basic life skills that go along with bravery. That's going to put you in a competitive bracket amongst the masculine realm which exists today, because most people can't even focus. Most people can't even focus or try hard at anything. So to answer the question, can you become world champion without loving boxing? No, you can't become the best in the world. However, you can become very good at it because you can have enough discipline to ensure that you go to training, and you can make sure that you're the kind of person who, if you're going to go to training, you're going to try your best. Guys, you're going to go to training for an hour. Whether you try hard or don't try hard, you're going to spend an hour in the boxing gym. There is no reason to not try. That is a learned habit. And what you often find with people who need to be motivated into things, because they're not disciplined enough to do things and not disciplined enough to do things properly, they'll go and say, I went to boxing training, as if that's all that it's about. It's not about going to the training. It's about trying hard in the training. It's about giving it your all. It's about dedicating yourself. You're going to give an hour up anyway. There's no reason to not try. Most people go through their entire adult life without trying 100% hardly ever. Think about it. Even when you go to the gym, you don't try 100%. You try 60%, 70%. You don't try 100% at home. What do you try 100% with? Do you really try 100% with work? Are you really moving that mouse as quickly as you possibly can? No, you're not trying. So you have people who have gone through life and are going through life without even giving 100% of what they've got ever. And it's interesting because we're entering the most competitive period of human history. So you need to get very good at everything you do all of the time. You'll learn a lot of lessons about psychology in the boxing ring. Now, they're not related, technically. One's exercise, one's the psychology of people. But you'll learn in the fight ring, you'll learn that you're not tired when you're winning. You're tired when you're losing. That once you start to win, you get to find unlimited energy from the universe from somewhere, and you just continue to push forward, no matter how hard it is. Winning is easy. It's trying to turn it around when you're losing that is difficult. You take this lesson from boxing and you apply it to everything else in life. You apply it to money and say, once I start to make money, I know I will have endless motivation to keep making money. It's just hard to make money in the first place. It's hard to get over that hurdle, but once I get going, it's easy. It's a positive reinforcement loop. It's a spiral upwards into infinity. It's a tornado that takes you to the promised land. So to have that unique psychological conclusion, that unique psychological input, you had to become good at boxing. So it's very important that you're good at everything you do all of the time. Don't do it if you're not going to try. But you don't want people to learn bad habits. But it's a bad habit to coast. It's a bad habit to spend time and waste it. It's a bad habit to go, I tried. I went. I didn't give it my all, but at least I went. You see this kind of cope online all the time. Yeah, at least I went. It's going that matters. That's not true. It's trying that matters. So you see this kind of cope. I didn't feel like going to the gym, but I went and just had a light session. Why? You went anyway. So why did you have a light session? If you're going to go, do it. If you're going to do it right. There's no point in half doing anything. You may as well have not done it at all. So this idea you can coast through things, this idea you can lazily try or pretend to try or just showing up counts, I dispute all of that absolutely. You give 100% of your heart, soul, and vigor to anything you do, and it becomes a habit so that it's all you know how to do. Before you know it, you're driving a car trying to do it as well as possible. And you're having a conversation trying to be as clear and compendious and concise as possible. And you're trying to make money as much as possible, as efficiently as possible. And you're trying to educate your children as well as possible. You're trying to protect your family as much as possible. You're trying to get as strong as possible. Because all you know is maximum limits. That's all you've ever done. You've never done any of this. That garbage can go out the window. So you need to get good at getting good at things. And you need to get good at trying 100% at all things, whether you like them or not. And this will give you a base level of competency in all realms, even if you're not in love with said task. Success is like being pregnant. Everyone says congratulations, but nobody knows how many times you get fucked. Absolutely. But that's the beauty of success, right? Because all the times you get fucked teach you the lessons you need to be successful in the first place. You would never be successful without getting screwed over. And also, you wouldn't be happy with your success without getting screwed over. The reason you appreciate that woman who's so good to you, who you trust with all your heart, who's loyal to you, is because that other woman cheated on you. If you had never seen a terrible, narcissistic, cheating woman, you wouldn't appreciate a good, kind-hearted one. There is no light without dark. So it's very important that you go through these bad things, one, to learn lessons, but two, to learn gratitude and appreciation for things once you have them. It's extremely important. Every time something bad happens to you, you need to say thank you to God. Thank you, God, for giving me this difficult time, for me to learn lessons, and for me to have more appreciation for my fantastic life in the future. That's how you should approach life. And especially success is exactly the same way. The lessons you'll learn failing along the way will ensure that when you get to the top, you can keep it.
The reason it's so easy to win in the world today is because the majority of people are perfectly prepared to lose. You have to wake up and you have to give a shit. You have to wake up and go, you know what? I'm responsible for my health, and I'm responsible for my finances, and I'm responsible for my family, and I'm responsible for my work ethic, and I'm responsible for my motivation, and I'm going to win. That's all you have to do to be monumentally wealthy. And the reason it is so fucking easy is because most people can't do that. If everyone could do that, then to win would be hard. But luckily, God has put us in this version of the simulation where it is so brutally easy to surpass everyone around us. I look at people and just go, you haven't even fucking tried. It's like a race and the gun goes off and I start running as fast as I can. And I turn around and no one's even moved. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll jog then. I'm nearly done and no one's even moved. Then I start walking. Then I just lay down and just have a rest. And I look at the back of the finish line, the start line, and everyone's still standing there. I don't feel like running. I'm not motivated. I'm stressed. I'm depressed. Like they're all just standing around the fucking start line. Yeah. And I'm right there at the finish line. And they're telling me like, oh, you're a bad person because you have money. I just gave a fuck about my own life. I just cared. How there are people waking up each morning and not giving a shit about their own life.
It's very hard to inspire people to take initiative to save themselves. Oh, I need your help. Do you? I don't even see you trying. And that's how God views things. I haven't seen you do anything that warrants me giving you a second of my help. Even if you try and help normies, most of them are beyond help because they are self-sabotaging and lazy. I want to see that you give a shit. I like people who sit and say, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to do something. I don't know what to do, so I'm going to just do something positive. And men of honor do not allow the universe to decide for them. They decide their fate.
I became world champion, Tristan became European champion. And like he said, we didn't have enough protein in our fucking diet. I became world champion without even fucking food. And you got these kids with millions and millions and millions. He ain't even got a six pack. It's embarrassing.
So what I say to men is, look, life's hard. It's always going to be hard. The only way to get out is to become excellent and perform at a level where your echelon is so high that you get to live this brand new experience. You need to become strong and smart and interesting and charismatic, powerful, well-known. You need to do it.
We must let the people at home know that enslavement's coming for their entire life and their bloodline unless they resist. Stop watching the fucking Super Bowl. Stop going to stupid concerts and instead be motivated about your family's future. If everybody cared about their country, like they care about these stupid fucking sports teams, then, or cared about their family, then the world would be fixed.